next to me. We're going to get to the fun game from last night. Rockets out in San Francisco. Warriors take this one. They're up 3-1 in the series. Jimmy Butler finished with 27, 6 and 5. Steph, he only needed 17. Pajemski with 26, 5 and 5. Şengün, 31. Van Vliet, 25. Goodness gracious, he couldn't miss the three except for that one. But Jimmy Butler was, it was a nice return, 27 points. He made a bunch of clutch shots there in those final moments. It's also on the heels of Steph having his worst game of the series. It's been a very interesting series for the Warriors in this one. Look, this is why they brought him in, Chandler. This is why Jimmy's there. The whole trajectory has changed, hasn't it?
It has, and it's exactly why they bring in a guy like Jimmy Butler, and he's been great. This team has dramatically changed. Defensively, they're so much better. They're so much more versatile. They can do so many different things with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. I mean, last night, they went the double big with Şengün and Adams. They kept Jimmy Butler in. He was guarding Steven Adams at one point, who, as we know, is a big, strong man and, you know, is not an easy matchup. So this is just an unreal move by Mike Dunleavy Jr. This changed the entire trajectory and vibe of this team and franchise. This was a team that we were talking about. The window is closing, and it gave Steph that jolt, that hope, that confidence to maybe contend for a championship as early as this year. This is a team that we didn't say that a couple months ago before the Jimmy Butler trade. So this was huge. And again, he creates so much attention on the offensive end. Teams now have to guard Steph Curry differently because he can go down, he can get mismatches, he can get on switches in the post. He gets to the free throw line so much. So this has just worked out beautifully. He's fit in. It just seems like all those issues, the personality issues, are all just gone. What was that? And this is great. He's one of the more tough, versatile players. Most people would be out right now with experiencing what he's doing, with dealing with that back pain, with the pelvic. And he's just continuing to play through it, grind through it. And he made some huge plays last night to kind of seal this game.
I know, Lou, there was a hug there with Jimmy and Steph after this game where it was just like, you could feel it through the screen. Like, this has literally changed whatever their window is basically overnight. Did you love seeing that?
I loved it, you know, and I love the way that they played. Even on a night that Steph Curry struggles, right? Like, you can throw the ball to Jimmy. You can rely on him. 12 for 12 from the free throw line, 7 for 11 from the field, and all of that is just bully ball. That's just him using his size, using his strength to get to the rim, get to the free throw line. They can't double him on the post. You double him on the post, you're leaving guys like Pajemski open, Buddy Hield, Steph Curry, some amazing shooters, one of the greatest shooters of all times in that list of guys. So now you got to guard him honestly in that mid post and in that post up area, and he's able to take advantage of it. And that's just on the offensive end. Defensively, when you pair him and Draymond on the defensive end, they're disruptive. They're going to be tough physical guys to be able to play through. Like, you can't just go through these guys. You got to score from the 3-point line. And so what that does is that limits your opportunities at the rim. That limits how much you can be able to get to the rim and be able to attack. And so, you know, by all accounts, Jimmy, they've said it publicly, like, Jimmy, that trade saved their season. Bringing him in saved their season, and it changed the entire trajectory of what they were trying to accomplish and what they were trying to do. And games like last night is the reason why you do it. That's why he's so instrumental in what they're trying to do.
Obviously, the Warriors are up 3-1. The Lakers find themselves in the opposite situation. But Jimmy Butler and Luka Doncic were trade deadline situations that were both brought in to make their teams better. I could give you the numbers. The Warriors are 25-8 with Jimmy in the lineup, 26-27 without. The Lakers are 19-13 with Luka in the lineup, 32-22 without. Wow. So you have to pick today who won the trade deadline battles.
I think right now it's the Warriors and Jimmy Butler. I think the impact he made, this team was dead in the water. Like we just talked about, this team was, the window was closing. Done. We're talking about, do we actually consider trading a Draymond? What do we do? Can we keep this young core? Guys like Kuminga, Moody, Pajemski, those were like the, kind of next up. Then you bring in a Jimmy Butler, and then one of those pieces, Kuminga, he doesn't even get a seat on the bench anymore. He's one of the guys on the floor, on the sideline. He has zero, opportunity now with Jimmy Butler there. But this team has just taken off to a whole new level, and I think we can judge Luka's impact further down the road, long term. I think he's 25, 26 years old. I think his impact will come. The Lakers were already good with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Do I think they got better with Luka? 100%. Do I think they won that trade? 100%. But there's no denying the impact that Jimmy Butler has had on this team. They went from a team that was on the fringe of, even making the play. I think they were the 11th seed when they made the trade, all the way up to the 7th seed, where they could have been even higher than that. And now they're a team that's a real contender. Once they get past this round, they got a chance to win next round too. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, Jimmy Butler's impact is 100% more valuable than anybody right now at the deadline.
There were some fireworks in this one. We love to see it. Draymond Green, of course, a part of most of all of it. Almost got himself ejected in the second quarter. He didn't. 14 years he's been doing that. I got to ask, Lou, as far as instigators in the league go, is Draymond the top of the list?
Yeah, I love it because he creates so many diversions. He creates so many diversions that allow Steph Curry and these other guys, you know, through the history of their team. When Clay was there, you know, when Iggy was there, so many guys. He opens up the floor for them because some of your top defenders, now they're in a one-on-one battle with Draymond Green, going back and forth with some of these things. And like you even seen it last night, getting up under guys' skin
so much.
to the point where to the point where we forget that we got to play basketball. I didn't love the flow of the game last night. I thought that it was a little too much of this. But other than that, again, it opens up the floor for other guys to do their things, you know, besides a Dennis Rodman, one of those guys, a Pat Bev. Those are special class of guys that go out there and get under other guys' skin when you have superstar guys right next to you that you can create so many diversions to yourself that it opens up lanes and it opens up the rim for some of those guys. So I love the fact that Draymond does this. I love the fact that that's part of his makeup. I think it's a healthy balance. The game needs it. But last night it was a little bit too much for my liking.
Lou did not like that.
I mean, listen, this is who he is. This is what he's done for years now, and he's not going to change. And I don't think the Warriors want him to change. This is that fierce, competitive, you know, mix it up, get in there, be physical, protect Steph Curry at all costs. And again, that's what he does. Now, last night when he kind of grabbed his jersey and then the leg of Tari Eason, and I think if Eason would have fell down, that would have been a second technical foul, and he would have been gone. And
I thought for sure, yeah.
And now we're talking a whole nother issue. So when you put your team at risk and he comes out the floor and he's kicked out, and then he's not on the floor to guard Sengun that last possession of the game, now you're putting this series in jeopardy. You're putting this game in jeopardy, and that's when it can cost you. So, again, I don't mind it. He's got to have a balance of it. He's got to keep his emotions, you know, in control a little bit more, but again, this is who he is. This is why he is who he is, and he's not changing, but he's got to be smart because they need him on the floor to do things that he did on the defensive end last night.
Well, he's making enemies. You got a guy on the other side that's making enemies. So Jimmy Butler talked a little bit about Dillon Brooks after this game.
Jimmy, you and Dillon got into it. It looked like you guys were having fun. Like, took it back to the playground almost, it looked like. What was it like out there? And it looked like you guys were, like, going back and forth. Did you enjoy that element of the game?
No, we're not having fun. You get me on record for this. I don't like Dillon Brooks, so we're never having fun. I'm a fierce competitor. He's a fierce competitor, but there ain't nothing fun about that.
I mean, I love everything about this. Everything about this.
And it's honest. Again, this is real. And again, they're competitive, and this is two of the more, you know, agitating guys to play when it comes to Dillon
Irritants.
and Draymond. And they're not going to back down. This is who they are. This is what's made them. This is Dillon Brooks' calling in the league. This is Draymond Green. This is what he does. They are physical. They're going to talk trash. They're going to get in your face. And again, they're going at it. And this series is awesome. This series could be 3-1. The other way, it could easily be 2-2. So the series by no chance is over either. So it's going to continue to happen. Again, I'm with Lou. I think this got a little bit out of hand. It kind of slows down. Reggie Miller last night kept saying, there's no rhythm to this game. Every 5 seconds, they were stopping the play. They were reviewing this. They were, you know, there were dead balls. So it's fun. I think it's great. Again, this is what makes playoff basketball so much different than the regular season. But, yeah, these are two of the more physical guys that are going to continue to compete. It's
just funny, though, because, like, Draymond is pretty hateable. Dillon is pretty hateable. Like, it's they've got one on each side. I think it's very even. Not every series gets the evenness that we're getting.
You can see the sarcasm through the screen. Like, no, they weren't having fun.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that big Santa Claus laugh, I could see the sarcasm. And I'm looking at Jimmy's face like whatever he's saying is not nice and it's not friendly. But Dillon Brooks is doing that to stop the referees from double-teeing these guys up.
Oh, it's brilliant.
To stop it from becoming a bigger thing than what it is. But it looked like he got called some choice words right there, and he was just trying to laugh it off to keep the confusion down.
So. Have you ever done that where you tell someone basically to go whatever, but you do it with a smile?
100%.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
It's just the
and again,
thing.
this all started with the review on Dillon Brooks' foul on Steph Curry, and there was one. And then because Steph Curry was kind of looking at one. Then on that screen where he fouled him, Steph started this whole thing by looking at him and saying, that's your second foul, kind of like, I'm about to get you out of here.
Steph was doing it.
So Steph kind of was instigating the whole thing. Who's the nice, friendly assassin over there? So let's not get it twisted. Everybody is involved in this whole battle. Everyone's going to continue to do this, and they don't like each other, and that's okay.
And that's actually great. We like that because it's Houston. They're young. They're the 2 seed. And yeah, it is a 3-1 series. Lou, I'll start with you on this one. I don't know. When we look back on this, let's say Golden State goes on to win. Will you look at the Houston Rockets and think it was just simply a matter of inexperience? Is that a good enough reason for them in this first year of doing it?
Yeah, somewhat, and you can see it from some of the young guys, right? Like Golden State is used to being in the position that they're in. Like they know what it takes to move on from round to round to round in the playoffs. They know how to game manage. They know how to play a game inside of a game. They've been here so many times that it's second nature to them. The Houston Rockets, they don't look like the number 2 seed. They look like the 7th seed. They look a little out of sorts, you know, and then you're having some inconsistent play from your second best player on the team to the point where you're not even on the floor at the end of games. Like they got to figure that part out. And that comes with learning. That comes with finding how you can be successful in the playoffs, how you can be impactful, you know. And so in Jalen Green's case, not being on the floor the last 4 or 5 minutes of a game, like you can't have it. You absolutely can't have it. But then we talked about Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet was the guy that stepped up, making big shot after big shot. So that puts Ime Udoka in a position where, hey, look, I just got to put the best 5 guys on the floor that's going to give me the best opportunity to win a basketball game so we don't go back to Houston down 3-1. And it ended up happening anyway. So a lot of that is inexperience. A lot of those guys hadn't been in these scenarios, in these positions outside of a Fred VanVleet, outside of a Steven Adams, in the position that they're in a hostile crowd, on the road, being the top seed. They just never been there. All of it is inexperience to me.
Yeah, Lou, you made a good point there last night. And Jalen Green, again, as good as his good is, his bad is really bad. It's inconsistent. But his offense should not control and determine how he plays on the other end. And when he's now becoming unplayable at the end of games, Udoka went to Adams, Sengun, Smith, Brooks, and Fred towards the end of the game. That was their best lineup. That's when they went on the run. Steven Adams had an incredible, impact on this game. Amen Thompson was great last night. He showed flashes. He went on a little run offensively with just insane athletic moves. But Jalen Green has got to find ways to impact the game even when his shot isn't falling, even when his offense is off. He can defend, he can get in passing lanes, he can get out in transition, he can create for other guys. He has not done that at all. He's either been really good offensively or really bad. And now it's to the point where defensively, rebounding, little things, missing blockouts, missing assignments, is keeping him off the floor in a close game. That's a problem if this is your franchise second best player, one of the 2 big guys in your duo.
Supposed to be 1A, 1B.
That's an issue. So I think he's fine. He's young. He's going to continue to grow, and he's insanely talented. He's just got to find a way to be more consistent and not let his offense determine his effort and his energy on the other side of the floor.
Let's put some numbers to the inconsistency so you can really sort of, I mean, that is a crazy last 7 games of production. That 38 points, which was amazing, by the way.
Great.
But then you look at what it's surrounded by. That is, look, how do you explain that kind of inconsistency, Lou? Because that's almost scientific at this point. What is that?
That's not really inconsistency when you look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Like when you're watching the games and live, you could say it's inconsistent, but right there, he's just not playing well this playoffs. He had that one big explosion there, but other than that, he's just not playing well. He didn't end the season and playing well. So again, you got to find ways to impact winning. If you're not going to score the basketball, we should be able to look out on the floor and see you being impactful. We should see your defense ratcheted up. We should see your playmaking ratcheted up. We should see your rebounding going up. All of those things, your communication on defense, just being impactful. There's so many different ways that you can do that besides on offense, but he's allowed the offensive side of the ball to determine everything that he's going to do. And as a young player, you just can't have that.
Let's also not forget there was a reason the Warriors were favored in this series.
That's fair.
Although they were the 7th seed and they're the 2 seed.
Absolutely.
It's very similar to the Timberwolves against the Lakers. Like, we knew right away this was a bad matchup for Houston.
Yeah, it doesn't feel shocking.
It's not shocking.
Guys, we have to contractually speak on the Cavs Heat game.